What's a very common thing that you just can't relate to? Restaurants that force their staff to act, sing or engage in fake banter. Just make my food please and leave the theater to the thespians. To be fair though, some of them are probably actual thespians that need to be servers as a second job. Getting upset with people for things they are not in control of. I have to be careful of this. I grew up in a family where my parents would be extremely angry at me and not tell me. Until one day they would blow up at me. Or they would act very passive-aggressive and I had to figure out if they were angry or not. I learned to watch people really closely for signs they were mad at me or on their way to blowing up at me / ripping the rug out from under me when I least expect it. As an adult, it's a conscious effort to prevent myself from not taking the things other people do personally or not thinking that everything someone does is some sort of sign or personal attack. Smoking. Nearly everyone in my family and all my friends smoke. I remember growing up saying that I'd never try it and being told, yeah, that's what everyone says. Well, it's true for me and I've never even been tempted. If you don't grow up / hang out around smokers, it's honestly kind of hard to just pick it up unless you actually want to. Especially nowadays since smoking cigarettes isn't as common. Nobody smoked in my family, so I never viewed it as a normal thing to do. I always viewed smoking as a bad and kind of pointless habit. Because that's what I was taught, I guess. It's kind of sad that the people who told you that had that attitude. As if becoming a smoker is unavoidable. It was normal in my home, but when you realize you always stink like someone else's cigarettes, it's easier to avoid. I went to a Big Ten college. I swear everyone was having the time of their life but me. I couldn't wait to graduate. Me too. I couldn't afford a football ticket and didn't major in anything I couldn't have at a school closer to home. Oh well. Exactly. I was so indoctrinated on the big college experience. It was a letdown. And an expensive one at that. It felt like 4 constant years of showing up to a party too late. I feel this so hard. I went to a big college because my best friend was going. Turns out I'm way more introverted than I thought I was in high school. We basically went from friends to acquaintances in like 3 months and I was stuck at a school I hated. Being quiet late at night when your parents are asleep. My parents are deaf. Damn. What a life. Not being afraid of being heard. Well, not by your parents at least. I don't know about siblings. So many possibilities. I'm stressing just at the prospect of being a child and knowing if something happens to me in the house I can't just scream for help. As I've gotten older, one of the weird things was flipping perspectives from child to adult. I was just stressing at the prospect of something happening to my child and not knowing to be able to help. Make an Alexa command he can shout that makes your bed shake to wake you up. And have lasers start shooting off in your bedroom. Quick Bob. Little Billy's activated the emergency disco. She signed. Urgently. Running a brush through my hair. I have very curly hair, so only finger brush it when it's wet, which isn't often. Seeing people grab a brush and run it through their hair when they've been in the wind or just to freshen up. I wish. I have to brush it in the shower because it's just too curly and thick to do anything with. My sister, whose hair like her father's and would never understand the struggle, grabbed a round hair brush one day and thought it would be funny to put it in my hair. It got stuck and I just sat there and cried. Another time when I was really young, my aunt, who was my father's whiter half-sister, decided to put little tiny buns all over my head with newspaper elastics that ended up getting stuck and ripping out my hair. I literally bled because of it. Ouch. My dad is who I got my curls from, and so he knew to brush from the tips to the roots, whereas my mum didn't and would try getting a brush through from root to tip. I once had a hairdresser brush my hair while it was dry and I was holding back tears the whole time. I was too shy to say anything. Then there was always kids at school wanting to straighten it. WTF. Even with straight hair I start from the tips. Once I can do a clean pass with no snags, I'll go from the root. With any hair type, you always go tip to root. My ex was a cosmetology student and didn't understand that. Tried to go for my straight curly when long hair root to tip. And tore a big chunk out. Proceeded to rail at me for how badly I took care of my hair. When it just comes down to dry. Fine hair that likes to get tangled as soon as I towel dry. Your ex didn't do a very good job of listening in school. Because I'm a barber, and even though most of the focus of my schooling was short hair, they still took the time to instruct us in how to deal with all textures and lengths gently. She also dropped out twice. And quit several jobs before even bothering to look for another one for months on end. At one point, I was working 17 hours a day 6 days a week, serving to support both of us. Sharing your whole intimate life on Facebook / TikTok / Instagram / etc. It's just gross. A co-worker of mine posts no less than 3 hours worth of video onto his Snapchat daily. Every single meal he cooks and eats. Every single time he feeds his turtles. Every single walk he takes with his dog. It's insanity. The obsession with branded things. Clothes with the brand's name on them just look tacky for me. I'd much rather have a regular old graphic tee instead of a t-shirt with Gucci on the front in gigantic bold capital letters. It's pretty whatever most of the time. Wear what you want and all that. But the obsession becomes incredibly annoying when people act like they're better than you because they spend several $100s on a single shirt. Those haute couture fashion houses have remarkable branding media teams behind them. They cultivate a sense of exclusivity and train the public to desire that. Often, though, the heavily branded items are actually not a fashion house's best made product. Materials and construction aren't superiorly better than any average store. They're mass-produced and made specifically for a certain audience, the ones who want to be seen wearing the logo. For the feeling of luxury and exclusivity, while also promoting further free marketing for the brand. It's most often their more simple looking garments, or basically the garments not ostentatiously covered in the brand's logo, that are incredibly well made. And are the real expensive pieces. That's what I've learned from watching documentaries on the back end of the fashion industry. I'm an office worker. I like my job and co-workers. I also really like it. I can listen to podcasts or watch TV shows while working, and I love the fixed schedules. Coming out of gastronomy work. That's heaven. Please tell me your secret to getting an office job. Or at least just a TBH. I hate working retail. And the biggest point for me is the fixed schedule. Weekends off are a huge bonus too. Sims, I need to start college, and the one thing holding me back at this point is my job. I went to a temp agency to get my first office job. It was a great foot in the door and great experience. Big expensive weddings. Best thing about 2020 for me is that we didn't have a $25,000 wedding, but instead had a $500 wedding with just us and our parents. Having dreams and aspirations. I never thought I'd get to be an adult, so I never had dreams. BTW, thanks for the awards, guys. I've never gotten so many, so I appreciate all of you. 3. 22. This year made me stop, and suddenly I started to question myself why I do what I do. Speep is scary, man. I don't know me, LMAO undefined. No. Keep going. That awareness is the beginning to true wisdom. Yeah, I kind of feel it like that, but it's really hard, you know. I'm feel trapped between my own feelings and necessities and what people will think about me. I know you need to think, beep them. but just thinking what my parents will feel when I told them what I'm going through. That I decided to stop for a little and reconsider things. I feel they will think I'm just a loser and a lazy bastard, lol. Of course it's beeping hard. That's why most people don't do it. Whenever someone presents an idea to you, look past their words and search their meaning. If the agenda they want you to adopt is self-serving, the world doesn't need more of that. Yes, there are things you need to stake a claim to for yourself, to define your identity. But who are they to tell you what that should be? I mean, if someone did call you lazy, are you? If so the beep what? Keeping up with the Joneses. I don't give a speep how nice or shiny your things are or mine aren't. I'd rather have money in the bank than a new car every year. My car is 6 years old and works fine. And still looks nice. Why would I trade it in just to keep up? Same with phones, clothes, computer, even stuff for my home, etc. I like mine. And I get good quality stuff so it lasts. To trade it in for the sake of it would be silly and a waste of money. 6-year-old car? Who are you? Richie Rich? LOL. Undefined. People taking out loans for their wedding expenses. One of the number one reasons people get a divorce is money. No better way to start off your marriage than in debt, I guess. That trope where the husband is a useless piece of lazy speep who couldn't possibly feed himself or care for the kids and house without your divine feminine guidance. It used to make me feel bad, like am I supposed to be running this speep by myself while my man just lies on the couch after work? But then I realized no, it's the trope that's speepty. It's everywhere though, and women think it's somehow cute or empowering to perpetuate it. As a husband and father, this trope pisses me off. I am extremely invested in my family, and am more than capable of taking care of business. Yet when I'm out and about with my daughter, it's must be mom's day off. Beep off with that speep. It's not mom's day off, this is me being a regular ass responsible dad. That's my default, you low-brow assuming piece of speep that apparently had speep for parents. Rant. Can't agree more. My husband has a shirt although he's never worn it outside the house. That says something like I'm not babysitting. I'm being a parent because he got a lot of those comments. He raised his first daughter until she was 5 because her mother decided she'd rather party and is better with our kids than me. I had no idea how to be a mother with my firstborn, and followed his lead. He taught me how to change her, not the other way around. I'm also a teacher and deal with as many fathers on school drop-off as mothers. People need to can the speep idea that men can't parent. It's an old, boring trope that's insulting, untrue and needless. Small talk. Go big or go home. So, know anyone who died this year? Having a task to do and just doing it. I have depression and many simple tasks feel like walking with glass in my shoe. I know I can do them, and should, but I often just can't. Undefined. Same. I just can't get the energy to brush my teeth until mid-afternoon, let alone get anything productive done. The word daddy used sexually. I have been calling my father daddy for 30 years and even just calling him dad feels so weird. Now I really have to find a new name for him. As a father, when the kids stopped saying daddy and started saying dad, it was a sad moment of realizing that they are growing up. I couldn't even fathom hearing it from anyone in the other connotation. Undefined. Hating your wife. At least it's common where I live. My wife is amazing and we make each other better. Undefined. To answer some common questions. My wife and I have been married for nearly 5 years. We have hit the post-honeymoon phase. And we're both American.